Hello everybody, thanks for watching my video. Thought I'd make this video. Had kind of a weird incident today at the gun range. I had bought some of this Plus P Underwood ammo, so I went to the range just to fire a few rounds and see how the gun handled. I was shooting it through this gun. This is a Para Ordnance 1445, and Para recommended that if you're going to fire Plus P ammo, you upgrade to a 20-pound recoil spring. So I did that, went to the range, and this stuff just run excellent. I mean, I shot up a whole box before I even realized it. And stuff ain't cheap, but it shot so good. We actually run a few rounds, 10 rounds through a chronograph just to see what it did. And the box says 1,100 foot per second, or 1,000 foot per second, but we've got almost 1,100 foot per second. It's like 1,098, if I remember right, foot per second on a 10 round shot group, which I thought was pretty good. But that's not the point of the video, really. Had an incident with a gentleman there that would give me a hard time about carrying this gun. He was telling me that double stack 1911 was too heavy, too clunky, too clumsy, the grip was thick, and just an awful carry gun compared to what he was carrying. So I asked him what he carried, and he was carrying a Colt 1911. Well, this isn't a Colt, this is another Para, but it's the same government model like he was carrying. I told him, I said, you realize there's very little difference between these two in weight and everything else, the size, weight. The major difference is capacity. This holds 14 plus 1, this holds 7 plus 1. Oh no, I didn't know what I was talking about. That double stack loaded had to weigh a pound heavier than his 7 round Colt. And so I disagreed with him, of course, and we got to arguing. The guy behind the counter made him leave, told him to stop being annoying and get out. So I talked to him for a little bit outside when I was leaving. He was still out there mad as hell that they'd thrown him out, but I guess they had issues with him there before. I told him I'd make a video at home weighing the guns and measuring the guns, and I'll send him a copy of it to prove my point. So he gave me his email address, so I decided to make this video. Alright, both these guns are loaded. This one's 14 in the magazine, 1 in the tube. This is 7 with 1 in the tube. And like I said, they're both loaded. I mean, I know a lot of guys in the videos that make a big deal out of clearing their weapons before they do a video, but I wanted to do loaded weights, and quite frankly, if you can't handle a loaded gun safely, you shouldn't be handling any gun. I mean, it's just that simple. Okay, let's start out. I'm going to start out with the 1445, and we'll get a loaded weight. Don't worry, you can't be shot through a video. Alright, this is in ounces. 51.43 ounces. It's flashing 51.46. Okay. 51.46. Okay, now let's do the 7 round expert. 42.93. Okay, so that is an 8.53 ounce difference loaded. That's a hair over half a pound difference. So yes, you were way off on your 1 pound heavier business. Okay, now let's get empty weights. And these are both loaded with the same ammo, by the way. And the ammo weighs in about 3/4 of an ounce per round, 0.74 ounces, I think it was. Alright, 37.99 empty weight, so 38 ounces. It's a heavy gun, but not that heavy. Alright, let's see what this one is. .93. Oh wait, that one's still loaded. Hold on, let me. Alright. Alright. 34.6. Stop jiggling. Yeah, 34.6. So empty weight is 3.39 ounces difference. That's it. That's on the empty weight. 8.53, 8.5 ounces loaded difference. Of course, you got almost 7 ounces worth of ammo difference on here too. You know, they're .74 ounces a piece, I think. All right, let's do loaded mag weights. All right, this is the 14 round plus one in the tube. 13.44 ounces. Okay. 8.32 ounces. So that's 5.12 ounces difference on the ammo and the mags. Which, of course, you know, the double stack's going to weigh more than, you know, single stack. I mean, it's a little over 5 ounces difference. And you're looking at 8.5 ounces, you know, difference in the loaded weight. So, and the empty weight's are 3.39 ounces difference. So, like I told him, very, very little difference. Okay. Now, one of his major gripes too was the grip. He said that this grip was way too thick and that his was much thinner, and you know, this thing was like an inch wide and blah 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 blah. Well, you can look at them. They are, you look at these holes, and this hole looks huge, especially compared to that one. I don't know if y'all can see that very good, but I mean, it looks huge. You look at the fronts and they look huge, but when you actually measure them, there's not that much difference. Let me get my handy dandy plastic calipers out. I worked at a gas plant for a while, natural gas plant, and they made us use these for measuring valves and fittings and stuff. And it's plastic because you couldn't carry any metal objects into the gas plant, or that part of the gas plant anyway. But anyway, let's start with this one. We'll start with the fat one first. Alright. Let's try that again. I don't want to get on. Alright. I got just a hair over 38 ounces. I don't know if you can see that, but it's, or 38 millimeters. Yeah, 38 millimeters there. And here, well, you can see the difference. That's the difference between the two. Alright, let's get it. Okay, 38 and 36. That's 2 ounces, or sorry, 2 millimeters difference in thickness. Now these aren't the stock pair of grips. I got this gun used. A guy had it and it was locked up tight. He couldn't rack it, it wouldn't fire, he couldn't do anything with it. And he wanted to trade it for a XDM that I had. I had an older model XDM, and he wanted it. And basically the value on the both were right around $500, but this one was locked up, so I told him I didn't really want it. I figured it was something pretty minor. I just didn't want to screw with it. So he offered to give me this gun and $100. I wasn't too hot about it, so then he threw in a couple boxes of 45 ammo, just, you know, Federal, you know, Full Metal Jacket range ammo, you know. So then I went ahead and did the deal. Took it apart, and what it was is the little pin that blocks your firing pin in your Series 80s. Somebody had replaced all the internals in here with aftermarket parts, and they didn't do a very good job putting them in. And the little pin that drops down to block your firing pin was catching up there because it had some kind of weird coating on it. I don't know what brand it was or what, but I finally got it apart. I got that pin out and I sanded it down smooth, took all the crap off of it, that coating, and then it worked fine. But he'd also replaced the sear and the disconnect, and I don't know what brand he put in there, but whoever put it in didn't do it right. So I took it to my gunsmith and he did a trigger job on it for me, and the gun's run fine ever since. So I thought I got a pretty good deal on that. Now this gun I bought brand new. I bought it from a CDNN out of Abilene, Texas, which is like 75 miles from where I live. And it's been a really good gun, but I wanted to try running Plus P ammo through it, and that's why I upgraded the spring to a Wolf 20-pound spring. And other than that, they've both been great guns, but that guy was just adamant that this gun weighed a pound more than, you know, this one weighed a pound more than this one. And it does look a lot bigger, and even when you hold it in your hands, you can feel the difference on them. But it's only 2 millimeters, and He tried telling me the slides were thicker and all that, which I don't know. I didn't measure them. Let me measure them, see what the slide thickness is on them. Because I've interchanged, the slides interchange. Alright, 29 millimeters on that slide. And about the same on this one. Yeah, 29 millimeters on that slide. So yeah, the slides are the same thickness. Like I said, I've interchanged them just to see how it looked. And this double stack, the slide on fit on it is just, actually it's really incredible. I mean, it's like glass on there. I mean, it's just, this one's, it felt a little rougher until I realized it was actually, when the slide comes back, it actually hits the hammer a little bit, and it has to push the hammer down a little bit. So what I thought was something in the slide was the slide hitting that hammer. But very accurate guns, both of them. I've had people tell me, oh, you can't carry guns that big, and I carry both these guns. This one I open carry, and this one I conceal carry in case somebody tries something to grab this one or wants to make an issue out of it. And I'm a one-legged fat man. I lost my left leg above the knee. I have a broken back. I have had a issue with my pelvis and my hips. So I was pretty screwed up. I walk with a prosthetic leg and a cane or crutches, depending on the day. Some days I do better than others. Some days I use a cane. A lot of days I use a cane. It's getting to a point now where I'm pretty steady with a cane. I can even walk without the cane, but it's not pretty. And I carry them both. So I don't see the issue. You know, I see a lot of people talking about weight. It's gun's too heavy, gun's too big. You know, and it's just not true. I mean, 51 ounces. Come on, guys. To say that's too heavy to carry. And I know a guy. I served with him in the Army. He's a good guy. Very smart. But he carries a little burst of .380. And he wanted to go shoot with me, so we collected up a bunch of my guns and we went out to my dad's place. My dad's got a place out in the country where we can shoot. And he wanted to hang out and bullshit with my dad. My dad's a World War II vet and he likes bullshit with him, so we thought we'd all go out there and do some shooting. We set up some old oil cans. My dad had some of the old metal oil cans that had been emptied out years ago. We filled them up with water and set them up for targets. And you hit them with the .45, of course, they just friggin' explode and blow all over the place. But his .380 couldn't even, not only could they not knock them off we had them on a 2x4 along the top rail of a wooden fence. They could not only not knock the loaded cans of water off the 2x4, but it didn't punch a hole through them. I mean, even my sister's little toy Glock would poke a hole through them, you know. But that's what he wants to carry. I said, well, that's what you want to carry it, you know, to each his own. But don't give me a hard time, because I actually carry a full-size gun, which isn't that complicated and isn't that hard. The main thing carrying a full-size gun is have a good holster. You know, I never understood this whole concept of people wanting to spend $700, $800, $1,000 on a gun, but then they don't want to spend more than $30 on a belt and a holster. It just never made a whole lot of sense to me. And then they complain because it's uncomfortable to carry. Well, you carry with a piece of shit holster on a piece of shit belt, yeah, you're going to have issues, especially carrying a full-size gun. But, so you, Ron, that proves my point. You weren't right on the weight, you weren't right on the size, you weren't right on anything. And yes, I know you'll probably delete this video when I'm done. That's why I'm putting it to YouTube too. So next time you try to harass me over there at the gun store, you're going to hear about it. Matter of fact, next time I see you at the gun store, you're going to hear about it. But anyway, y'all have a good day. Thanks for watching. Carry what you want to carry, but just make sure you carry, because a gun left at home ain't going to do you a damn bit of good when you need it. And unless you're psychic, there's no way of knowing when you're going to need it. So, y'all have a good day, and thanks for watching my video.